Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Ferd Bird the Nerd with another comic book market report for October 15th, 2024. It's a day after the holiday, and so I just wanted to do a quick report for everyone. We haven't had as many views on these past reports, so we'll see if we keep doing them moving forward with the channel. And some changes are coming up with the channel itself. And I do want to say I thank everyone for sticking with us for the past couple years here. It's been a enjoyable ride, and we've had some changes good, not so much bad, but I think all of them really good. Shout out to Darth Lopez. Good luck with your further pursuits, and probably I'm trying, I try to encourage him to start his own channel eventually, and he may look into that. So once that does happen, we will promote the heck out of him, and I do thank him for all he did, the contributions to the channel. But he will not be with us anymore. But without further ado, let's get into it. I have a pretty substantial list this week, a lot of longer term and just books that I've always keep my eye out for, and some current ones that kind of after the sales ended on Sunday, I just wanted to go over these. But without further ado, let's get into it. So first off, a classic, G.I. Joe 21. This is the classic silent issue, and this is one of the books that kind of held up during the pandemic and throughout. So I was shocked to see third prints going for $600 and 9.8, and 9.8 direct going for $2K. Now a newsstand, oddly enough, there was a listing for I think $6K. Buy it now, our best offer. I don't know what the best offer was that was actually accepted, but the fact that it was sold at that $6K ask price and a $2K is going for direct 9.8, third prints are going for $600 9.8. You gotta admit, I gotta admit that that's a pretty insane value for a quote unquote modern comic book. There's a ton of different versions of this. I think the third print is the way to go if you're a collector. If you're an investor, the direct I think is to go. If you're just like I need a one of one, the Newsy 9.8 is the way to go as well. So I just thought that was fascinating as far as the value of this book. So on to the next. And I talked about this book. I had this in a 9.6 Newsy. It's my favorite ASM cover of all time. The story inside really sucks, so don't buy this for the story. Just the cover is just amazing. Amazing Spider-Man 431. This is where Carnage takes over the Silver Surfer, Silver Surfer, what have you. It's just awesome. And 117.50 for 9.8 direct. That was with multiple bids there. That's super cheap. I think if you love this cover. I have it autographed in a 9.6 newsstand, so I feel like the value that's like 150 to 200. But this is a PC book for me. Whenever I see this book, I think so much nostalgic, kind of memories of Spider-Man growing up in the late 90s, and I think I was a teenager at that point in time. So this speaks to me just from a nostalgic standpoint. But 117.50 for 9.8 direct, I think that's healthy. That's good. Great buy. I never was a Neil Adams guy. I only knew about him just because of the Neil Adams documentary on YouTube, and the community just kind of flocked to him a lot. But nonetheless, Planet Comics #1. This is the Neil Adams cover to get. It's beautiful. I think his art's pretty good. I'm not gonna say oh, you should invest in Neil Adams art, because that could be like a fad. I remember these 9.6s going for 1K at one point. So 468 with 16 bids. I think that's really cheap. It's healthy though. It's still liquid, but you're not going to get 2K for a 9.8. And this is post-pandemic, right? So this Neil Adams documentary came out very recently. So I always hate to bet on, I don't even go that route. But yeah, rest in peace, Neil Adams. Your fandom is still going through and through. So if you are in the market for a Planet Comics, not 9.6, not a bad investment. For 468, it's half the asking price of 9.8. So pretty cool. Barbaric #1. This is optioned, and I remember seeing this particular book going for $50 raw, and I haven't heard anything about it since, and so I wanted to highlight it here. When you're buying optioned books, just be careful that I don't know how many people are wanting a Barbaric optioned show. I don't know how many people are going to watch it. I don't even know. I haven't read who's tied to it, what have you, but you could have waited for the FOMO to die down. $22 raw. I think that's going forward. I think especially with indie titles that are going to option to Amazon or what have you, unless it's Invincible or a super short print run book that had a very substantial cult following. Like, I'm not buying these FOMO books, like, just whatsoever. Evangeline's another one example. Cross is another example as well. What was one that I was looking at actually purchasing, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna do that. Anyway, it's just really risky. Like, don't do it. But regardless, if you are curious, 22 bucks for a raw book, that's still pretty like healthy for an indie book that is optioned. 54.50 for a 9.8 though. If you are investing in this book, you might as well go for the 9.8. Forget the raw, in my opinion, because 22 bucks is a lot when you can just pay double for that for basically the grading fees. So this is a pretty cool cover. I think this incentive variant for Mark Spears Monsters, which if you haven't read this book because you're, you really just don't want to read the book and ruin it, I'd say get another copy of like whatever cover you don't like and read it. It's a really fun read, especially for the spooky season we're in right now. I think this is the second best cover. I personally like the Wolverine Hulk, Incredible Hulk homage with the priest and the cross with the vampire like trying to get at him. Spoilers: the vampire wins. There's no graded copies of this book yet, but for 25 bucks, I'm not mad at that hip hop homage. It's a pretty, again, Mark Spears, like, this is definitely a book when I saw like creep up on like my Instagram. I just like the art. I didn't care about like the book. I just needed that art. I haven't seen a book do that to me in a long time. So shout out there for Mark Spears. Congrats on your Kickstarter. Before we get into this next book, I just, again, want to thank everyone for your support. We have 832 subscribers. We haven't really moved a ton since then, this past week. So if you do like this show, please hit that like button, subscribe to all your friends. We'll keep doing this as long as we get the support, but like, we'll see. And yeah, Spawn 174. This is the first appearance of Gunslinger Spawn, the second probably most favorite character, I would say. 400 bucks for a 9.4, which I think ain't too bad. This is really tough at 9.8. It's a lower print run because of the lower issues. 9.8 for 600 bucks though. So if you are investing for the longer term, I think you're probably just better to get the 9.8 for an extra 200 bucks. That's not a big kind of difference between 9.4 and 9.8. It's a beautiful cover, and I think I like this cover better than the like double guns one, just because you can almost like feel the temperature in this cover. So next book, Ghost Spider, Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider number 1 of 100. Whenever I see this book, I think of our good friend Aaron Easy. He bought this book for like, I think 35 bucks and has it at 9.8. It's gone as high as 1,800. Recent sales though, it's doing that Darth Vader 3 LaRocca variant for 1,200 bucks though. I mean, that's pretty pricey. This is definitely just like a wall book. You're gonna, if anybody has this book, they're not Spider-Gwen fans. They're just fans of this cover, which I love it. I think it's if I had extra cheese to just fling around, I would definitely get this book and get it signed, get that yellow label and all that good stuff. So, but 1,200 bucks. This book doesn't go on sale very often. The last sale came like 3 months ago, so that kind of tells you where this book is at as far as PC for people. So. And then, oops. You got one more after this. G.I. Joe 21 from Image. This is the beautiful Michael Turner cover, which I was a Michael Turner fan. He's kind of like the Neil Adams for me when I was a kid. 98 bucks raw, though. I don't know what 9.8s go for this book. It's an Image book, though, so just take that, take that consideration. But I love the duel between Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, with the random Cobra Commander in the background. Pretty cool stuff. But 98 bucks for a raw, like, I think that was a steal. And there were 16 bids on that last sale. So I need this book. And last but not least, a classic, Sandman number 1. This is a modern like book, not just comic book, but book. It's I think it's in the Library of Congress, and like it's got all this, awards and accolades, and the way that Neil Gaiman, this is Neil Gaiman's modus operandi, I guess is what you call it. 1K for a signed 9.8 by Mr. Sandman himself. And I think it's good value for a modern classic. You compare this book to like that Ghost Spider book, right? Especially with the show coming out. It's a confusing story, I don't think anything's ever been done like Sandman before. That's really cheap, in my opinion. It's not, I don't know if it's going to push this past like 5K, but it's a modern masterpiece, and I think people should enjoy reading this book. So that's your market report for this week. The hottest books of the my top 9 books that we've been looking for October 15th, 2024. If you guys are not, if you guys haven't taken the chance to like this show, please hit that like button, subscribe, tell all your friends, and we'll keep doing these shows. Out of here. You guys have a great start to your week. Have a good day.